good evening, everybody. Good evening, Shir. Hello. My name is Shir Aloni. I come from Novia. We're doing user interface design. And I chose to speak about the beauty of Wonderland. And I'm going to use the famous Alice from Wonderland story that was written in 1880. And I'm going to refer to the famous movie by Walt Disney from 1952. Is there someone here in the crowd not familiar with the movie? Just tell me so I can shortly brief him. By doing that, I'm referring to the movie because I think that Alice's journey through Wonderland, or the way you look after my lecture at Alice at Wonderland, you actually will see what a UX designer is working through when he's handling a problem or working with a product or a startup. So let's start. I have 3 parts in my lecture. It's going to be 20 minutes. The first part is going to be a case study that I experienced just here in Google Campus 2 years ago. The second part is going to be the way to Wonderland. So I'm going to show you one of the secret tools that we UX designers use in order to solve this kind of problems. And the third part, I'll take you to a test drive and see if you learned the tool and you can use it yourself. Okay? So we live in Wonderland and we're going to the real world, but we'll get there soon. We'll get there back soon. So 2 years ago, I was standing here, I was working at this campus as a mentor, UX mentor, and we usually get fresh startups. So 2 guys came to me. They were very, very smart. They came from the Hebrew University. They were doing a second degree in image processing. Okay, probably you know the idea of image processing, all kind of Fourier transformation and so on. And they came up during their study to an excellent idea of image sorting. So they can say, well, we have an idea, we have a solution, we develop an amazing algorithm that can really sort pictures. So imagine that you have tons of pictures, like thousands of pictures, and one click, it will take like 2 or 3 seconds, and they can pick the right 10 or 20 pictures that are best ones for you. This is really awesome. So I told them, whoa, this is really cool. So how do you do that? They said, we know how to cut out faces, and we know how to take out blurred faces, and if you're not looking directly to the camera. And what happened with backlight and front light and overexposure and a few shots taken from the same scene, we know how to take the best one of them. I said, wow, this is really great. This is an amazing algorithm. But did you ask yourself a bit, what is the use of that, and to whom, on what context? It should be relevant. And they said, yes, what do you mean? Of course. You don't want to carry all this unnecessary photos in your pockets. But you have the cloud is burst with tons of photos that you don't need, actually. You just sort them and so on. And imagine that you want to create an album. So the process of creating an album is if you look at the time creating an album, most of the time is devoted to manually cherry-picking all those pictures and creating the album for you. And it takes really long time. So we do it in 1 click. At this point, I'm usually stepping back. Sometimes physically, I'm getting up my chair, stepping back, something in my mind, and going to a place that we will see in a second. Ask them a very simple question. If you're entering the photography field, if you're going to offer something new to the audience, did you ask yourself a simple question of why do people take pictures? So you know the what, you know the how, and know the when, right? But why? So did you ask yourself the question, why do you take pictures? It's not a simple question, right? So a lot of answers comes to your mind when you start thinking about it. And they said, well, good question. So we start serving. We did it here in this campus. We served, like there was 100 people, and we served and got all kind of very interesting answers. And from that point on, we continued serving and asking about this question, all kind of people. And I, even today, continue to ask people about this question and get all kind of interesting answers. I want to share just 3 scenes, 3 situations to the answer of why do people take pictures. So the first one is going to a vacation. That's a special context. And the second 2 is sharing picture and taking moments. Okay, we'll go through them briefly. So going to a vacation, that's a context that starts at a certain date and time, and at a certain date and time, you're preparing for your vacation, you're packing your bag, you're checking the weather and so on, you're taking the special camera out of the shelf, yeah, taking the dust off, cleaning the memory card, checking the battery, and you are ready for your vacation. You're ready for those places that you all read about and prepared for. And when you're there, You take those pictures and build your experience through there. And most seldom that people that come back from experience, they almost seldom will create an album out of it. We see that on the statistics. So this is an idea and a special context of taking pictures. Not day-by-day context, but just experience. We'll put that on the side. Let's go to another experience that happens every day for you. All share pictures. Go to your smart pockets, take the smartphone, point, click, and you got a picture. And then share, and it's up there in a social network. So you all do that all the time. But did you ask yourself, why do you do that? Why do you share? Why do you share pictures? What's the benefit for you? What's the emotion behind sharing pictures? So you do that every day, and the picture is there in the social network, continuously checking the picture. Did anyone attend to my picture? Did I get likes or comments? Or did anyone else share my picture and so on? And then, yeah, I got those likes. But who liked my picture? On the social network, people who like your picture and paid attention to your picture are those of close circle to you. And when you get attention from people close circle to you, this is one of the definitions of love, right? So you can argue, just saying it's an idea, that people share picture to get small portion of love from those who care for. Another day-by-day experience is taking moments. So I'm seeing my kids on a birthday. Everybody that has kids has tons of pictures of your kids blowing candles and so on, or taking the first step. Or you also take picture of other things, like, yeah, that's a great sunset, that's a great flower, and so on. And we will not share that. It will be there. Why do you do it? Why do we take those pictures? We call it memories. We call it moments, and sometimes it's related to memories. So actually, if you can look at moments taking, it's like the total expansion of the human memory. So you have a memory that will never forget. All those pictures are uploaded to the cloud. They will always be there. You have the theoretically option always to go back and retrieve that memory and rethink and relive this memory. But you probably won't go and relive all those sunsets, right? But the idea that I will never forget is a very strong emotion. So this was I gave you just a taste of what it's like to go back and step back and look at reasons of why people are taking pictures. So vacation become revive or reliving again and again the experience. And sharing get portion of memory. And moments become unlimited expansion of our memory. And what I did with the startup is took them out of their focus. They were very much focused on technology, on the solution, and what they're going to do and how much it's going to cost and so on. And I took them back and look at the problem, at the users and the needs, and who is going to use their product and for what purposes. And this is one of the most important tools that us, UX designers, are using. I wrapped everything up, and I'm referring to Alice in Wonderland, because I think that the way to Wonderland is a very, very powerful tool that you can also use. So let's go through Wonderland and look what it is and what you can do with it. So first, let's make some rules, or actually, no rules at all. So Wonderland is a place where anything can happen. You can meet anybody there. Anything can appear on a sudden, which is not expected. Wonderland is a place where there is no rule. There's no physics. There's no up or down, or gravity, sunset, or moon, or anything. Anything is allowed, and anything can happen there. And Wonderland is a place with no restriction. This is very, very important, because when you really going to Wonderland, you have to take off restrictions, obligation. There's no deadlines, milestones, money, time, project, management, hardware, software, technology, tons of restrictions that actually blinds our mind and don't let us see the users and the real needs that they need. Because our users do not care about our obligations. And when we go to Wonderland, we take that off and we clean. So what happens in Wonderland? Alice is meeting all kinds of interesting people in Wonderland. Yeah, you're all familiar with the famous Tea Party. She's meeting the Mad Hatter, and she's meeting other members, and they all live in their environment. Very colorful, very full of details, like the special hat that he has. He has a collection of hats, if you've seen the other movies, and the special teapots, and the coloring, and the songs. that they have there. It's very, very powerful. And you can meet them there and attend them, look at them, talk to them, to the users. But first, if you want to have your own wonderland, when you start up, you want to have your own wonderland and you want to have your user inside, you really have to set up your users. So we all tell you, yeah, you should go out and investigate. And you do user research, do a persona and mapping and so on. But this is really important. And you have to really build every character that is relating to the solution or the domain you're going to enter and put them in Wonderland for you. Now, of course, you say, yeah, well, you know, we heard this from you, expert. We heard this 1,000 times. Yeah, go and make survey, go out, you know nothing. You don't have time to do anything, just go out. And he said to me, they always said to me, we don't have time, we don't have budget. I mean, we have to raise money, we have to make lots of code, write lots of code, and debug and QA and so. And we don't have time to investigate and meet our user and develop our users. So I know that on the first stages, it's a learning curve. And as long as you are committed to this learning curve and saying, yeah, okay, we mapped certain users. We have their characteristics. We know that we are in a learning process. We're at the first stage of learning process. So we devoted that time, which is fine. Now you take each one of the users and you build his characteristics. And you just, like a risk management, you're saying to yourself, okay, for some characteristics, I'm pretty sure that this guy wears hats all the time. For other characteristics, I'm not that sure. What is this number on the hat? Is it the size of the hat or the price of the hat? So you should see the next movie to find it out. And other characteristic that we're not really sure what the song they're doing and what happened when they run out of tea. So we're not so sure what happens. So this we leave aside or we guess. And it's okay as long as you commit to the process of user setup and user building. And when you have Wonderland, and when you have your user inside, this is a time when you can try new ideas. During your process as a startup, you always find places, the junctions, that you have to make a critical decision, whether to go that way or another way, whether to write a new feature, attend a new audience. This is the time to build your Wonderland, go inside, and try new ideas on the user that you build. What I said here just right now will raise eyebrows of lots of UX mentors, because this part can be very dangerous. I'll tell it in a minute. This part does not replace going out to the field and testing on your users. So the delicate rule that you have to keep in mind is always consider when it is safe to do that or to make a conclusion or not. Do you have enough information? Do you know enough about your users? Are you really sure that they're going to use it the way you think? Because if you don't, and you're going to be surprised how they use the watch or the jam, you should go out, make a survey, make a beta, and go and test it on the real world. Yeah, that's an excellent slide. A good UX designer that will be part of your team will know a few things. He knows how to set up his users. He's committed to the learning curve of continuously building his users, going out, collecting information about the users, going back to Wonderland, putting more details, and establishing his users. And he really, really knows when it is safe to make conclusions in Wonderland, in this imaginary place that we build, and when it is not safe, and you have to go outside. And this is, as I said, quite critical. This was a taste of what Wonderland is. I'm not sure you'll all be capable of taking all the restriction off and stepping into your own Wonderland, but I welcome you to do it and use it, because it is beautiful to see things through there, and lots of things will reveal to you, and you see things differently than you look at them today. What we're going to do, this is the third part of the lecture, we're going to take the Wonderland to a test drive. As I see, most of you use Waze. That's very common software for navigation. So Waze have a moving map, so your car inside, turn by turn direction, turn right, turn here, and you can put inside, you get word hazard, etc., etc. It's a very famous application. Now let's take Waze as a test drive. Let's put Wonderland on Waze. Okay, so I'm stepping back, I'm really stepping back. Waze is a solution. I don't care about the solution. It's a solution with client and software and hardware and communication and moving map and so on. I'm putting everything aside. Okay, I don't have Waze now. I'm going back to the driver. I'm a driver. I'm driving in my car. Let's refer to, not be all the users that we need to. Let's refer just to a portion of the audience. Let's refer to drivers who drive the way to work. We know from statistics that we did that 70% of the Israeli people, and of course it's resembled to California, are driving every day to work and back. And the way usually take them about 40 minutes. That's the average in California and in Israel. So let's focus on this group. We're a driver, we're going to work and back, takes 40 minutes, we are inside our car, and of course we have a cell phone there, somewhere. Might be on the cradle, might be on the next chair, and so on. On the way, we do all kinds of things. We listen to radio, make a phone call, and so on. And we can make an intelligent guess that most of the drivers who do that really know the way to work, right? So they know the turns. I mean, they're driving for years, every day to work and back 5-6 days a week. So everybody knows the way to work. But during the way to work, there's sometimes occasions, junctions of decisions that they have to make. Like I'm approaching a junction on the way, it's 10 minutes ahead, and then I have to make a decision. Should I go to road number 2 or road number 6? Oh, I'm not sure. What's the traffic? How are the accidents? What the time is it? I got up late today, so how am I doing? How should I tell? I need someone that will help me make a decision, turn right or left. This is a decision point, okay? Lots of drivers that I interviews are using ways to answer this need. After we've been to Wonderland, look at Ways to Wonderland, ask yourself a simple question. Do we really need maps to answer this question? Or are there other ways to do that? So I'll leave you with that question, because there are lots of answers to that question. That was my lecture, and welcome to Wonderland.